Today I'm going to be talking about the word surrender and how when you fully surrender to what life throws at you, it starts working for your good. And how literally just surrendering to life can make your life beyond your wildest dreams. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and help me get to my goal of 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now let's get messy. Hello, my beautiful friends. I'm Natalie, and I'm here to share with you how I've turned my messes into messages and come out the other side. I'm not a doctor, so if you feel you need one, please get one. But if you're looking for a friend who's been there, like and subscribe so you don't miss a thing. And our viewer question today is, how do you have patience when life throws madness at you? How do I have patience? I love this one. Thank you, my friend, for this question, because I spent most of my youth in New York City. I was a hustler. Go, go, go. I did not even know how I could ever have patience. But that was because it wasn't a muscle I was working. I wasn't trying to have a more patient existence. I got excitement out of, I'm busy doing this, I'm rushing over here, I'm important. But that's not what being busy means at all. Just because you're super busy doesn't mean you're important. You know, it just means that you're too distracted to notice the beauty, the miracles, all of that. And I have made it a point now to take a couple days off a week and literally be at peace and do nothing, because the God of my understanding will literally cripple me into exhaustion if I don't do this. For me, what helped the most was being out in traffic. I had little games with myself, little victories, I call them, whenever I would let another person in ahead of me. Or when I was at a red light, I could just breathe in and out and inhale and not need to look at my phone or look what's going on around me. Like, just be present in a moment with myself and my breath. And it's amazing how much this will help you cultivate more patience in your everyday life just by surrendering to whatever moment you're in. If you're in traffic, surrender. If somebody hurts you, surrender. It's a beautiful thing. So I hope that helped. And don't forget, guys, keep popping those questions below. Love it. So what does it truly mean to surrender? You know, I'm in Narcotics Anonymous for my drug addiction recovery, and it's a 12-step fellowship. Step 1 is admitting I'm powerless over my addiction and that my life is unmanageable. And I always was wondering, why can't I get recovery down? Why do I keep relapsing? And it's because I never did a thorough step 1. I never fully surrendered all the reservations I had towards never picking up a drug ever again. I thought that my life was going to get better just because I put the drugs down, and that is so far from the truth, because it's not a drug addiction, it's a thinking problem, and I need to get my mind clean. And step 1 is step 1 for a reason. Admit your powerlessness over whatever issue in your life is going on, and it's making your life unmanageable. Then step 2 is to surrender the will and life of yourself over to the care of a God of your understanding. And how beautiful that is. And it doesn't have to be a drug or alcohol problem. I mean, you could be an obsessive worrier, or you could have panic attacks, or you could be a negative thinker. Like whenever somebody says something, you always think the worst, because this was me too. I had a freaking slew of negative auto responses that my body had accumulated over my lifetime. And I just thought that was the normal way of living. I had no idea how beautiful my life could become if I just started surrendering. Because think about it, you're in a moment and you get frustrated. Let's say you're in traffic and you're on your way somewhere and you're really upset that the traffic is making you later. Let's say somebody bumped your car and now you have to call and get that inspected. And it's just one negative thing after the next. So what happens? We start to get stuck in this negativity, this, oh my gosh, this just happened. Oh, now this just happened. Well, isn't this great? And before you know it, it's this whole outcome of just one negative thing after another negative thing. Whereas if you could have just surrendered in the moment at that red light and said, okay, maybe giggle. Okay, God, you have something different for me in store than what my will is. I surrender to you. And that's the beautiful thing, is that when you truly do surrender, and like that can't mean having a reservation, you have to fully surrender your life over to God, because we can't see everything that God can see. And a lot of times, you guys, when I look back at things that didn't go my way, I'm really grateful that it didn't happen the way I wanted it to. Because I'm a human, right? I can only be stuck in this present moment. And I can worry about the future, but that doesn't do anything to help me in my present. It doesn't change the past. It just keeps me stuck in negativity, which what? Brings more negativity to me, because your thoughts are like a magnet, guys. What you think about, the universe brings about. So when I fully surrendered my life over, which meant not getting upset at people for hurting me, not cussing people out on the road, because believe me, sometimes, but I cultivate that patience, right? And the patience brings about the surrender in knowing that God is working everything out for my good, no matter what. But my role is also surrendering to doing the next right thing. It needs to be total, full surrender. It can't just be on the weekends. This is something we do every day. It's a lifestyle change. And take it from me, I had to surrender so hard because I had lived a selfish existence of the getting and using and finding ways and means to get more narcotics into my system, no matter who I hurt, no matter who I crossed, no matter what I had to steal or who I had to lie to, it didn't matter. So you are talking to someone right now that has had to surrender one of the biggest obstacles in my life, my drug addiction. This is the crutch that got me through life. And now I have to surrender it and never use drugs again. It was hard. I'm a little over 3 years, and my first year was really hard. I had so many things come up that I wanted to not surrender to. I wanted to just, screw it, I'm going to go use. But I didn't. I stood firm, no matter how much pain I was going through, no matter how broken my heart was, no matter how uncomfortable it was, because that's another one, right? Sitting in a moment that's uncomfortable. We're humans, man. We don't like discomfort. We want to be comfortable 24/7. And that was something I wanted with my drug addiction. I wanted to feel good all the time. I wanted to be happy all the time. But I'm not in heaven yet, right? I'm in life. And that means surrendering to life, surrendering to the ups and the downs, and showing God that I'm his trusted servant here. And no matter what you throw at me, Lord, I am always going to continue to do the next right thing because I surrender my life over to you. You gave me life, Father. You gave me life. And how dare I be selfish to not surrender my will and my life over to my Creator and do what I'm meant to do here, which means not just live for the self, but surrender to living for others, surrender to being selfless, surrender to doing what's right even when no one's looking. And guys, karma's real. And you start living this way, life is going to start happening for you. And take it from this addict, okay? It's not easy to undo generations of behavioral patterns. It's actually really hard. It's really hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but nothing good comes easy. Everything that's worth value is either expensive, or it takes a long time to get, or it's a process of educating yourself to the point of growing into that next version. But it's the patience. It's having the patience and the knowing that as long as you continue to do the next right thing, God is working for you, which means moving a little slower, right? Because if you're anything like me, I'm impatient. But when I started moving slower in my day, when I started not responding to messages right away or running over here or doing 3 things at once and multitasking, when I started to move slower, I noticed I could be fully present in a moment. I could be more aware. I could take in more. I could remember more. And what a gift of surrender to fully be present in your life, in your existence, because that's the gift of surrender. It literally is a gift. You get to be fully aware and functioning in this present moment as your highest self. I'm going to close with a little story from my life on surrender. And hopefully you can take this lesson and not have to make the same mistakes I did. So growing up for me was difficult. I was bullied a lot. I never really had true friends. I've had one friend my entire life from when I was 10. But other than that, people are pretty vicious. Kids can be vicious. And I'd get mad. I would get hurtful, resentful. Then as I grew older in my 20s, girls I'd work with at jobs would literally tell me to do the wrong things to get me in trouble. It was just one thing after the next. And I harbored all this anger and resentment towards God and the universe for allowing women and people in general to hurt me. What my recovery has done for me is I've switched my mindset. Instead of getting mad, angry, and resentful at the people who hurt me, I switch it over to gratitude, as crazy as that sounds. When I'm getting upset about a person, I say, God, bless that person so they can be a blessing. Help them, Father, navigate through this existence selflessly. Help them learn from you and grow from you. And when I do this, guys, it literally helps me so much. It gives me peace because I'm starting to look at this human being with love, right? Instead of anger or resentment, which again, I was explaining earlier, fuels what's being drawn to you. And when you start treating people that are mean and vicious to you with love and kindness and compassion, it's a superpower. Because it's not like you're really forgiving the person for them, right? That is all for you. Forgiveness is selfish. It's to give you peace. It's to give you joy. It's to make this present moment better. Because in reality, everything is internal, karma. Put out hate, get hate. Put out love, get love. So I encourage you today, surrender. Are you feeling hate? Are you feeling anger? Are you feeling shame? Surrender. Let it switch into something that works for you, not against you. And I know it's challenging. My girl right now tells me almost on a daily basis that I have her praying for people she hates. But she's starting to see the effects after doing it for a week or two. Your life gets better. Your life gets more calm. You become a more positive, radiant version of yourself. And the biggest superpower is you're not held down and weighed down by the shame, guilt, and anger and frustration that those negative emotions give you. Surrender. Surrender your feelings. Surrender your life. And I promise you, God is going to work everything out for your good. Give love to your haters. Give love to your enemies. Walk through life with grace. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.